Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're watching me for the first time, my name is Lizzie. Today I'm going to show you guys how I do my brows, even though sometimes I get frightened on drawing my brows myself. But today I decided to put all of that behind me and make this video. So the first thing I did was to use an eyelash glue on my brow, and then I used a spoolie. The spoolie is the brush that I'm using right now on the brows, and then I used a spoolie to put the brows in place like this. This is just going to make your brows more defined, especially when you want to draw. So I basically just repeated the same thing on the second brow. So naturally for our brows, we have the front, we have the arc, and we also have the end. I also have a couple of videos where I drew brows for my clients, so I'm going to link them to this particular one. So you have to wait for a while, just let's say for like 30 seconds for everything to dry. And when it was dry, I picked up my Davis brow pencil, making sure that the tip is as pointed as possible. So this is my front where the brow is going to begin, and this is my arc, and this is also my end. That is where the brow is going to begin, and that is where the arc below my brow is going to be. And then for the upper arc, this is where it's going to be, and the other part, which is the end, is where the brow is going to end. So I'm just going to trace all of that from the beginning to the arc and also to the end of my brow. So I'm going to try as much as possible so that everything will look natural and also nice. So for the top, I'm going to move backwards a little bit and then just draw a thin line above the brow again and connect the arc to the end of the brow like this. So basically we have a rough sketch at this point. So for the inner corner of the brow, I'm just going to fill up hair-like strokes like these, just to have a natural look, especially for the front of the brow. And then for the remaining part, I'm basically going to shade the rest of it like this. So once that is done, I'm going to pick up my concealer, and this is a classic concealer. That is what the brand is called, and I'm going to pick up a shade that is about 3-4 tones lighter than that of my skin tone, because I want to highlight underneath that area. And I'm going in with a very flat brush, as you can see from the video. And then for the inner corner of the brow, I'm going in with my shade of foundation, and I'm using Ezekiel foundation today. So you just pick up your shade of foundation just so that everything will look natural, and use your flat brush and align both the lighter shade of the concealer and the foundation together. Just blend everything properly using a blending brush, just so that that area would not look cakey. And this is what we have right now. So for the upper part of the brow again, I'm going to pick up my shade of foundation, and I'm just basically going to use it to conceal the top of the brow like this. This is just going to sharpen the brow look. It's just going to make it more defined and cleaner. That's what it's going to do. So once I'm done concealing, I'm just going to make sure that everything looks good and that the lines are clean and it actually looks good. So once I'm done doing that, I'm going to pick up my blending brush again, and I'm just going to blend the area where I have the excess foundation at the top of my brow and also beneath my brow like this. So once we're done with the first brow, I'm going to go over to the second brow and basically repeat the same process. So I'm just going to draw a thin line underneath the brow like this, using the same method that I initially used for the first brow, and then another thin line at the top of the brow like this, and connect that to the thin line below the brow. So while you're doing this, make sure that the brows actually look like sisters. May not necessarily look like twins, but make sure that they actually look like sisters. So for the front of the brow, I'm just going to make hair-like strokes, same way I did with the first one, and then basically just fill up the areas where I do not have enough hairs. And once that is done, I'm going to move over to conceal the brow, and I'm going to pick up a lighter shade, same way that I did with the first one, to conceal the lower part of the brow. And then for the inner corner of the brow, I'm going to use my shade of foundation like this. So make sure that you're using a flat brush, and once that is done, pick up your blending brush and blend all of that properly. So I'm going to pick up the same flat brush that I used before, and I'm just going to conceal the top of the brow using my shade of foundation. So at this point, I'm just comparing this brow with the first one to make sure that they actually look alike, because sometimes if you're not careful, you'll discover that what you've done on the first brow totally looks different from what you've done on the second brow. So you need to be as careful as possible just so that they can look alike. So at this point, once I was done, I went ahead to pick up my blending brush and I blended everything into my skin properly. So at this point, this is just basically me giving the brows final touches to make sure that they look good. So I'm just going to clean up the areas where I feel I need to clean up and add some hairline strokes in the areas where I also need to add. And I'm just going to correct some parts that I feel that I need to correct, just so that the brows can look similar and so that they can look good and nice. So if you've watched this video to this point, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and also share. I'm going to also link some of my previous videos to this one because I have lots of amazing stuffs and amazing videos for you guys to see. So thank you guys for watching this video. I do hope that you learned one or two from it. If you did, you know what to do. I love you guys so much, and I will see you all in my next video.